I'm going to share my thoughts on a documentary that I watched last night. So this is a little bit of a spoiler video. If you haven't seen the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker, then maybe you want to go watch it. I don't highly recommend it after watching it. It's interesting because halfway through, I was recommending it to people. After I watched it, I'm like, I'm not recommending it, but it's up to you if you want to see it. It's disturbing to the soul on so many levels. I couldn't sleep last night after watching it. So, if you don't like spoilers, this is the time where you click away for a bit and fast forward to the end or whatever. But if you don't care to watch this show and you don't mind spoilers, then this is the concept. This is the premise of what the whole documentary is about. It's about the abuse of a young man from rich, white, fat, white people. That's basically the concept of what this is about. So picture a homeless hitchhiker that turns tricks in order to get food, alcohol, a place to stay, and drugs. What does he get in? What does he have to do for that? Well, he has to perform sex on these old guys that are like 70 plus years. And this is laced throughout the documentary, even though they don't tell you that that's what this documentary is about. But Kai says it himself. He's on Jimmy Kimmel. Go look it up on YouTube. It's disgusting. It's disturbing on every level. Jimmy Kimmel, I hold somewhat responsible for this because basically after he bludgeoned a guy almost to death, he became a YouTube sensation, and Jimmy Kimmel wanted him on his show. And I'm not going to go into all the details as to what happened, but basically, in my humble opinion, what was happening was maybe Kai was in the middle of either talking about sex with the guy that he was with, that was driving, or performing some kind of sexual ritual or whatever inside the car, and thus getting into an accident. Again, they're not going to say that, but in the interviews that follow, the driver, after basically killing a black man, left the scene and went somewhere and masturbated. I'm telling you, this is a disturbing documentary. It's disturbing. He didn't leave the vehicle. Kai got out of the vehicle after they ran over a guy, and I think it was distracted driving. And the guy that was driving did not get out of the vehicle. Why? Because he probably had his pants down. Later, Kai shows up on Jimmy Kimmel's show, and gropes Jimmy Kimmel on live in front of an audience. And Jimmy Kimmel doesn't even flinch. And you can watch it. You can look it up on YouTube. It's disturbing. Watch for the second that Jimmy Kimmel, Kai is confessing. He's basically saying, like, I basically hitchhike with fat, rich people. And he says it again. And Jimmy Kimmel jokingly didn't know where he was going with it. Says, I'm that guy. I'm the fat, rich guy, rich white guy. So then Kai looks at him, looks down at his crotch, and gropes his leg. Either Jimmy Kimmel didn't catch that, or he ignored it and moved on with whatever he was planning to do with the video, ignoring what Kai was all about. Because Kai, it was so routine for him to jump into a car, start talking about random things, and then do a sexual favor for a older man. That's Kai's ritual. You could see it. It's plain as day in the documentary. The guy is mentally ill because of all the things that he has been asked to do for these people. Now, are they all rich guys? Possibly not. But it's clear in the documentary that that's what he was doing. And this is what happened at the end of the documentary. He actually ends up killing a 74-year-old man. And I'm not saying he's innocent of this. I'm saying there are consequences to this lifestyle that this lawyer probably had, because he gave him money on like a Saturday after they were having sex together and sent him on his way. And Kai left and then came back the next day to stay at his house. And it was disturbing what he said happened to him. Now, do I believe he got raped by this man? I don't think so. I think it was a mutual consent. And then after Kai snapped, after doing this for such a long period of time, he snapped and ended up killing the guy, and then ended up going to jail for it. And they don't talk about what happened. They don't talk about the sexual encounters that they had or anything like that. It was just Kai is mentally ill, and that's it. They don't talk about the powers that rich people have over these young men that are homeless, that have nothing, and then they give them food, they give them shelter in order for them to give these old people sex. It's disturbing. I'm telling you, on every level, this is disgusting. So, if you haven't seen it, like I said, I don't encourage you to see it. And you're not going to see this type of review on other videos. They're going to say, oh, this guy, you know, he had everything. He had all the success handed to him on a platter, and then he wrecked it. He threw it away. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened at all. This guy was a homeless guy that was starving on every level, even attention, and didn't know what to do with the attention because he was doing all this stuff as a hitchhiker. And he's probably not the only one. There's probably other people that do that as well. And over time, it's going to corrupt your mind. Over time, you're going to snap one day. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So this is what people aren't talking about. They just say it's mental illness instead of saying this was abuse on every level from every form. And we created this guy on YouTube. Basically, at the end of the day, we're responsible for what happened as well by making this guy into a celebrity instead of treating him and saying, you know what, I think there are bigger issues here. Let's get you some food. Let's get you some shelter. Let's take care of all your needs without the sexual favors and all this kind of crazy stuff. And let's get you better. Let's get you healthy. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about the abuse. Instead, we turn this guy and we banish him to prison, and we ignore all our responsibility as well. That's my humble opinion. That's my thoughts. And speaking of rich, fat, white people, Davos is on today, or the World Economic Forum is having their annual meeting today in Davos, Switzerland. So I'll probably make some videos about that as well. Anyways, feel free to share your comments as always, and don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate every subscriber. We are approaching 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching, and see you in another video. Bye for now.